Thanks for joining us for this Mayor's Minutes with the City of Brooklyn Center. The mayor is joining us, Mike Elliott. Welcome, Mayor. How are you today?
I'm doing great. It's good to see you again, Dave.
You as well. We want to spend a few minutes to update residents on police reform, public safety reform in the City of Brooklyn Center. And we want to talk a little bit first off about the Public Safety Act, just what is comprised within that act. And Mayor, you have some nice graphics here to take us through it. Tell us a little bit of the key components of this act.
Well, Dave, I just also want to acknowledge this past week's activities and the response that we saw from folks in our community to the killing of Amir Locke, young man that was happened to just be sleeping at a friend's place and woke up, and next thing you know, he was dead. And we know that no-knock warrants can be deadly. We saw that with the case of Breonna Taylor. That is another practice that we're going to be looking at very closely here in Brooklyn Center. But it's a practice that I feel really strongly that it should be banned. We know that there are other cities that don't use it. St. Paul, for instance, hasn't for quite some time now used that practice. But this is all part of the public safety discussions that we need to have. So the Public Safety Act we passed here in May in response to the killing of Dante Wright and the ensuing uprising has several components aimed at improving safety in our community. One, it creates a new Department of Community Safety and Violence Prevention. It creates this new structure where we have someone who is an expert in public health that is overseeing all of our community safety efforts, including overseeing the police department and fire department, the new traffic enforcement department, and the community response departments. Mm-hmm. The act also establishes community oversight of that department. It also ensures that the community is at the center of creating the components of the act, all these different pieces of it. And it establishes a civilian oversight board to review complaints when folks in our community have complaints about how they're treated by law enforcement. Mm-hmm. What's important is that there are common sense, evidence-based responses to situations that we know do not warrant an armed law enforcement response. If your neighbor is playing loud music, do we really need somebody with a gun to tell them to turn the music down? No. There's probably other responses that we can put in place. And so the work that we're doing really is to develop more community-based responses. And where we're at now is we are in the middle of establishing the
Implementation
committee. Mm-hmm, yes. Mm-hmm. And that committee is going to do the work of looking at this act and really working our way through how we implement it, making the necessary recommendations based on research and the experts that we have that are helping us, including LEAP, the Law Enforcement Action Partnership. They've done this work in other parts of the country. They have law enforcement that they have on staff also, so we get that perspective as well. And those appointments are going to be coming to the City Council towards the end of February. And once that committee is in place, we're going to go full force and we're going to implement this resolution and make it the best fit for Brooklyn Center.
And one other note around that committee and this work going forward is you have a new staff person to help out in this area. Tell us a little bit about David.
Yes, absolutely. So David Zaffrann is on. He has experience working in government. He worked in Minneapolis, worked on their mental health response team that just launched a few months ago. So he's bringing some experience here that's going to help us make sure that we're implementing this in a timely manner and in a way that is going to be a best model, hopefully, for other cities in Minnesota and across the country. We've already gotten phone calls from other cities around the country interested in doing this work as well. But it is the most important work that we can all be engaged in right now. There's a bunch of people in our community who don't feel safe currently with police.
Mhm.
And with our current public safety model, we have to change it so that everybody can feel safe. And that's incredibly important.
And a lot of information passed along here. If you want to find out more, certainly, as always, go to the city's website. Mayor, thank you once again for your time. Look forward to talk to you again soon.
Thank you, Dave.
Learn more about The Connection at ccxmedia.org and follow us on social media.